Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, the IDF confronts separate threats and hostilities as Iran and its regional proxies remain vocally determined to destroy the state of Israel. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant asserts Jerusalem's unyielding resolve to eliminate all of Hamas's leadership. CIA Director William Burns stresses ongoing efforts to reach an outline for a hostage release deal. Israel continues to confront threats on multiple fronts with a deadly terror attack and separate hostilities reported over the weekend. During the early hours of Sunday morning, a Jordanian truck driver crossed the commercial Allenby border crossing with a concealed firearm. Upon transit to the Israeli side of the border, the Jordanian truck driver opened fire toward Israeli civilians, murdering 3 before Israeli forces eliminated the terrorist at the scene. A joint investigation into the incident was immediately launched by the ISA and Jordan's intelligence agency Al-Muhabarat, identifying the assailant responsible for the act of terror as Maher Diab Hussein Al-Jazi Al-Hawaitat. The identity of the terrorist came as a surprise since he is a member of one of the southern Jordanian Bedouin tribes that are known to be loyal to the Hashemite monarchy, with no ancestral affiliation whatsoever to Palestinians, who make up over 77% of the kingdom's demography. With that being said, following the deadly attack, hundreds of Palestinian supporters and operatives of the Muslim Brotherhood staged a procession in support of the Jordanian terrorist.
جاء رد عفوي ليقول لنتنياهو وللصهاينة إن كنتم تعتقدون أن الأردن خاسرة سهلة ضعيفة فأنتم واهمون.
Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in opening remarks at his weekly cabinet meeting on Sunday, relayed the government's condolences to the families of the victims. The Israeli premier went on to stress, amid widespread protests in both Tel Aviv and Jerusalem over the weekend, that Iran's axis of evil, which continues to engage Israel on multiple fronts, does not differentiate between one Israeli to another.
אנחנו מוקפים באידיאולוגיה רצחנית שמובלת על ידי ציר הרשע של איראן. בימים האחרונים מחבלים נתעבים רצחו 6 מחטופינו בדם קר ו3 משוטרי משטרת ישראל. הרוצחים אינם מבחינים בינינו. הם רוצים לרצוח את כולנו, עד האחרון שבינינו. ימין ושמאל, חילונים ודתיים, יהודים ולא יהודים. מה שמונע את השמדת עמנו כבימים עברו הוא עוצמתה של מדינת ישראל וכוחו של צבא ההגנה על ישראל. רוח הגבורה של החיילים והחיילות, השוטרים והשוטרות, אנשי ונשות כוחות הביטחון שלנו, ההקרבה העילאית של נופלנו, הגיבורים, וכוח העמידה של עמנו. זה כל ההבדל. כשאנחנו עומדים יחד, אויבינו אינם יכולים לנו. ולכן היעד המרכזי שלהם הוא לפלג אותנו, לזרוע פירוד בתוכנו. בסוף השבוע האחרון פרסם העיתון הגרמני בילד מסמך רשמי של החמאס שחושף את תוכנית הפעולה שלו. לזרוע פירוד בתוכנו, להפעיל לוחמה פסיכולוגית על משפחות החטופים, להפעיל לחץ פוליטי פנימי וחיצוני על ממשלת ישראל, לקרוע אותנו מבפנים ולהמשיך במלחמה עד להודעה חדשה, עד תבוסת ישראל.
While the concentrated psychological warfare against Israel's public is evident, Netanyahu stressed further that the majority of the people of Israel do not fall prey into the blatant schemes of the enemy. Meanwhile, in the Gaza Strip, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant toured the Netzarim corridor in the central part of the enclave, where he held a situational assessment with the Southern Command commander, Major General Yaron Finkelman, and other senior field commanders in the vicinity.
אנחנו בעזה צריכים להשיג את שתי המטרות שלנו, גם לחסל את החמאס וגם להחזיר את החטופים, ואנחנו על העניין הזה בכל הכוח. במקביל לנושא הזה, אנחנו מסתכלים על כל הזירה, וזה אומר שבזמן שאתם נלחמים כאן בעזה, אנחנו נערכים גם לכל דבר שיכול לקרות בצפון, והעברת מרכז כובד יכולה להיות מהירה ויכולה לכלול גם אתכם, בלוח זמנים קצר. ואנחנו ערוכים לכל האפשרויות האלה.
Jerusalem's top defense official continued by asserting Israel's resolve to eliminate Hamas, including its abhorrent leadership that was responsible for the October 7th massacre of last year.
כאן אנחנו נמשיך ונלחץ ונכה את חמאס ונשחוק אותה ונחסל את החמאס, וגם נגיע למוחמד סנואר וגם ליחיא סנואר. לכל האנשים האלה, המחבלים הארורים האלה, אנחנו נגיע. וכל מי שחושב אחרת, שיסתכל על מרואן עיסא ועל מוחמד דף, גם הם חשבו שהם חסינים, הם לא איתנו היום. הם עשו את הטעות שלהם, גם הוא יעשה את הטעות שלו, אנחנו נבצע את המשימה שלנו.
It is important to know that while Israel's defense establishment is fighting tirelessly against the Islamist Hamas in the Gaza Strip and elsewhere, mass demonstrations were recorded over the weekend in both Jerusalem and Tel Aviv in a public outcry for an agreement to be reached diplomatically that would return the hostages from Hamas captivity back home.
We have to shout loud that we have to bring them alive now. We cannot wait any longer. It's been enough, 11 months exactly today, that the people are dying in the tunnel. We cannot let it happen. We cannot go on with our life without thinking about them, without praying that they will come back home with us, and they're not supposed to be there.
While skepticism reigns in Jerusalem regarding prospects for a viable deal, amid Hamas's continued refusal to accept any outline that does not spell Israeli defeat, CIA Director William Burns, who's the leading figure in ongoing talks in Cairo, stressed Washington's continued efforts to reach an outline nonetheless.
We will continue to work as hard as we can with the other mediators on this, because there's no good alternative to getting to that ceasefire and the release of hostages.
During the same panel, which included both the CIA and MI6 directors, the latter was asked about Iran's continued rhetoric regarding its intentions to attack Israel.
What is your assessment of Iran's intentions? Do you think it will still retaliate for the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh? Because it said it would, and we haven't seen that yet.
I suspect they will try, and we won't be able to let our guard down for the type of activity that the Iranians might try and prosecute in that direction. And the Iranians have a whole playbook, a destabilizing playbook around their region, and we see that in their sponsorship of Lebanese Hezbollah, in their support to Hamas, which enabled them to do the horrors that we saw on October the 7th, what they do with the Iraqi Shia militia who are under their control, what they do with the Houthis in terms of disrupting international shipping through the Red Sea.
Shifting gears to Israel's northern front, where IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi hosted U.S. CENTCOM Commander General Michael Kurilla for an extensive tour of the war-ridden border region, during the course of which they held an elaborate situational assessment in the IDF Northern Command's Underground Operations Center and received an operational briefing, during which they were presented with the IDF's operational plans for Lebanon. In a statement by the IDF spokesperson's unit, it noted that the IDF will continue to deepen its relationship with the U.S. Armed Forces due to the joint commitment to strengthening regional stability and coordination between the two militaries. And while no additional information was given, prior to General Kurilla's visit, General Halevi toured the northern front with his northern field commanders, during the course of which he emphasized Israel's preparatory work to deepen its activities against the Iranian proxy Hezbollah.
צה"ל ממוקד מאוד בלחימה בחיזבאללה. אני חושב שכמות התקיפות בחודש האחרון, פעילים שנהרגו, רקטות שהושמדו, תשתיות שהושמדו, היא רבה מאוד. פיקוד צפון עם כל היכולות של צה"ל תוקף בתוך לבנון הרבה מהיכולות של חיזבאללה לפני שהן תוקפות אותנו, ואנחנו במקביל מתכוננים גם למהלכים התקפיים בתוך השטח. אני חושב שהשילוב הזה של תקיפות מאוד משמעותיות על חיזבאללה, כדי להקטין את האיומים שישנם על התושבים בצפון, גם ברמת הגולן, מאוד מאוד משמעותי, והמוכנות להתקפה קדימה שאנחנו עוסקים בה הרבה.
It is important to know that unidentified aircraft launched a series of aerial strikes against Iranian and Syrian targets in a number of locations throughout Syria overnight. According to the London-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, intensive strikes which Damascus attributed to Israel targeted the Scientific Research Center in Musyaf city, in addition to Iranian installations on Musyaf Wadi al-Uyun Road, Haidar Abbas area, Al-Arawi village, as well as air defense factories near Al-Baida village, killing at least 25 people, including 4 Syrian soldiers and 13 members of Iranian proxies. And while the Damascus regime condemned Israel for the attack, the IDF spokesperson's unit did not confirm or deny its alleged involvement. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to encourage you, as ever, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Jonathan Hessen wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our upcoming TV7 Israel updates. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.